Hey guys, Tactical Minds here. Kind of an early morning video. Here, enjoying my cup of coffee, sitting here on my spaceship couch, as one of my brothers calls it. It's big enough to fit like 15 people, but it's only ever me. But hey, what are you gonna do? So, kind of relaxing and chilling a little bit this morning on here. Wanted to go ahead and put this video out there. So today's video is going to be about my response to the police in Uvalde, Texas, and their response or lack thereof to the recent school shooting that we had out there. Now, I'm not going to put that, prick's face up there, the animal who shot the kids up, because quite frankly, I don't believe in glorifying these monsters, and I hate when people put their faces everywhere. I feel like it gives them credit. I don't care for it, so I'm not going to do it. But what I wanted to do was give you guys a perspective from a law enforcement officer. Okay, I think right now there's two kind of sides to the coin, right? We've got a side where, everybody who's law enforcement, kind of want to respond one way. And we've got a side from people who have never been in law enforcement that kind of want to respond the other way. So I want to give you, from a law enforcement officer's perspective, my unbiased opinion. Not going to hold back anything. Just because I'm law enforcement doesn't mean that I won't call something bad when it's bad. Same thing with the military or anything else. I'm going to always call, a person on what they do, because I judge the person by the character. Black Scout Survival is one of my favorite channels I watch. One of the things Jack says is you can't put everybody into one group. Right? You can't say all cops are bad, or all Marines are bad, or all Navy is bad. You can't put everybody into one group. There's bad people in every facet. Okay. There's bad cops. There's good cops. There's bad Marines. There's good Marines. There's bad sailors. There's good sailors. I mean, there's bad people in every walk of life. Okay. So you can't just go ahead and put everybody into one group and marginalize them that way. All right. But before we go ahead and get into the video, let me just get the usual out of the way, guys. Please, if you like this, like, comment, share with your friends, let them know. We're trying to grow the channel. Again, we don't get paid for this. By we, I mean me, because it's only just me. Subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, hit that all. I know a couple of people I talked to that said they don't get notifications on new videos. So please do all that stuff. And like I said, importantly, let YouTube know to show these videos and not keep them hidden in the background. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. So first thing right off the rip, I'm going to say, if you're a law enforcement officer and you're looking for me to just defend cops no matter what they do, that's not what this video is going to be. And if you are on the other side of the fence and you're one of these super woke people and you hate cops and thinks all cops are bad and all cops are inherently racist, then this probably isn't going to be the video for you either, because I don't side with that either. Again, I won't group everybody into one marginalized group of people. That's just not what I'm going to do. And I will say, before I get into anything, if anything that I say offends anybody in the video or upsets you, too bad. I guess don't watch. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not one of these people that is ever going to apologize to anybody for giving my unbiased opinion. So anyway, let's get that out of the way. First thing that I've heard is I've heard a couple of reasons as to, again, the lack thereof response from the officers to the shooting, right? So we all know the Border Patrol agent who responded off duty and went in and saved the kids, and that's awesome on him. He's a true hero, and we're not going to talk about him today. We're going to talk about DPS and the other law enforcement officers that were on the scene. Everybody by now, I'm sure, has seen the video, right? Everyone's seen the video of the officers standing there with their body armor on, their rifles slung across their chest, with their tasers, and there's parents screaming and yelling, trying to storm, through the school. And there's all types of reports. I've heard parents get tased. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've heard all types of things, right? So first thing is, I've heard a couple of reasons for why the officers didn't go in. First thing I've heard was that they did make entry initially and took fire. I've heard possibly a couple of officers were injured. They took fire, and maybe The other officers backed out after seeing one of their buddies take fire and was fearful of going in and getting shot. We're going to go ahead and address all of it, but that's just one thing that I've heard. I've heard another part that I've heard that their commanding officer or sergeant, whoever was on duty, was telling them to stand down, to not go in and wait for tactical units to show up, which I personally never agree with, standing down and waiting for a tactical unit to show up. If it's an operation where you want to have a tactical unit in place to go ahead and initiate that, whether it be a high-risk warrant or something like that, that's one thing. But when it's a situation like an active shooter, there is no waiting for tactical units. If it's a hostage situation, you're waiting for hostage negotiators and stuff like that. That's a whole different situation. But I mean, in this instance, there's no waiting for another team or unit. I'm sorry. I've heard some law enforcement officers who I do like and follow and respect very much say that, they were unequipped. They didn't have shields and special gear, and you don't understand tactics. And I'm going to tell you, I don't really care about any of that. I'm sorry. You got a vest on, and if you didn't wear your vest that day, that's your fault. But most of them had their vests on and rifles slung across their chest. As far as I'm concerned, you're more than prepared to do your job. And even if you didn't have the rifle, you got to go in anyway. So I don't want to hear that as an excuse. There's a lot of excuses out there as to why they didn't do what they did. And I am going to say this, I wasn't on scene. So I don't have the information they did at the time. So I don't know why they did what they did at the time. One, if their friends took fire and they didn't go in because at that point they were scared for their lives, I'm going to call it straight what it is. It's cowardice. There's no excuse for that. I don't care. If your buddy takes fire, you still got to go in and you got to put that shooter down. Simple as that. If they were told by their commanding officer, sergeant, whoever was in charge that day, not to go in, again, I'm going to tell you that's not an excuse. In law enforcement, sometimes you got to get things done. And in my opinion, you got to do what's right, no matter what. You do what's right, you do the job, you get the job done, you ask for forgiveness later. You don't ask for permission to do what you're supposed to do, okay? You don't ask for permission to go save a life. You do it, you ask for forgiveness later. I don't think there's a department out there, quite honestly, that if you went in and stopped the shooter is going to come down on you too hard later about why you broke rank and went in. I mean, do what you got to do, ask for forgiveness later. That's my personal opinion, okay? Those just aren't viable excuses to me, guys. I'm going to tell you this, okay? And again, I wasn't on scene, but listen, in an active shooter situation, and again, Black Scout Survival, I believe he put this up on his channel. He put basically from what I've read from active shooter school training that I've been to. In an active shooter situation, the officer's first duty is to stop loss of life. Okay. It's not to render medical aid. It's not to attend to your buddy. It's to stop loss of life. Okay. And in the active shooter school I went to, which I'm sure a lot of other officers have been to, we're taught that if you've got a team or 3 or 4, like that's great. You can go in and cover every sector of fire, and that's awesome. Right. But if you're by yourself, then you're by yourself. You're outnumbered, you're outgunned, you're whatever. You have to go in. There's no waiting for somebody else. You have to go in and you have to make entry. Your first and primary focus is to stop loss of life. And when someone's in that school and they are actively shooting, or they've shot people and they're still in there, that is an active shooter situation. Okay. It is not a hostage situation. It is not a barricaded suspect situation where everybody is outside of the school and it's just a shooter in that building. In that kind of situation, then yeah, law enforcement can slow things down and take their time. But that was not the situation. The shooter is still in the school. You have to go in and make entry. I hear a lot of times, people say that, police don't wear capes, and I hear a lot of officers say, we don't wear capes. We don't get paid to take bullets and stuff. Well, here's going to be my rebuttal to that. One of the things I've always loved, being in law enforcement for over 13 years is, when you are in your vehicle and you roll by a child, and that kid looks up at you, and their eyes get all big, and they wave and smile, and if you wave and smile back or hit the red and blues, they get all excited, right? Because to those children, um, they do look at you as a hero. And I can promise you, when somebody's in a situation where they're in fear for their life or somebody else's, and they dial 911, they are looking at you as a hero. Okay, there's maybe not a cape hanging off your back, but they're calling because they're scared, they're in fear for their life, and they're expecting you to come save the day. Okay, now we can go into more of that as far as what all comes with that, but that's what they're looking at, guys. They're expecting you to come save the day. They're calling 911 because they can't handle it themselves. They're in a situation where they are scared, and they're expecting you to come save the day. They're expecting, when they see you roll up on the scene and you've got your vest and your gun, they're expecting you not to be scared, because they're scared in that moment. They're the ones that need saving. They're expecting you to do what's right and come charging into battle, come charging in and save them. That's what they're expecting. And I'm going to be honest, if you're in law enforcement and you're not prepared to do that, then you are in the wrong line of work. And you're more than welcome to comment if you are in law enforcement at me and tell me I'm wrong. I'll be happy to tell you you're wrong, but you're in the wrong line of work. Listen, going back to when I first started in law enforcement, a guy who I worked for years was a retired New Jersey state trooper. And before I got on the job, one of the things he told me was, at the time, if you guys have watched my previous video about my personal health, you guys have known my wife passed away 7 years ago. But at the time when I first went into the academy, my wife was very much alive. And my buddy, this retired New Jersey state trooper, tells me, he says, Chris, let me tell you something. Every day you walk out that door, if you're having an argument with your wife, your kids, or whatever, I don't care what it's about, make up and kill the argument, because every day you walk through that door, there is a chance you don't step back in through it. And quite frankly, that's how I've lived all my life in law enforcement. And that's how everybody should live their life. You have to understand that you put on that badge. It's not just so you can pull people over and tell people what to do and stop people and yell at them. Okay. It is because you are expected to protect people. That is it. And by that, it means you have to selflessly put your life in harm's way for the protection of others. That's the job. That's what you signed up to do. Anybody who's in law enforcement that says that's not what they signed up to do, then again, I'm going to say you're in the wrong line of work. Okay. That is very much what you signed up to do. You signed up to put your life in front of other people, to protect other people's and put their lives first before yours. That is what you signed up to do. I've done warrants before where I've been with a team of guys, and I've always said, I want to be first through the door because, hey, listen, some of these guys got young kids at homes and their wives are still at homes. And I've always told them, I've said, let me be first through the door. Something bad's going to happen. I'd rather it happen to me than to one of these other guys and them have to, not make it home and their families have to hear that they didn't make it home because something bad happened. I'd rather have it happen to me because as a law enforcement officer, again, I'm going to put my life before the lives of others. That's just what it's supposed to be. Your life is expendable. I'm sorry, but again, that's what you have to know going into this job. That's why you get into this job. Okay. If you get into this job, into law enforcement, and same thing goes for the military, quite honestly, if you get into law enforcement and the military because at the end of the day, you're expecting some type of law enforcement or military discount, or you're expecting, people to stop everywhere they go and thank you for your service and shake your hand, then I'm going to tell you right now, you're in the wrong line of work and you're in it for the wrong reasons. This is a dangerous job, and it is. It comes with a lot of inherent dangers. Okay. It is what it is. But listen, those officers in that school, I haven't heard an excuse or a good excuse as to why they didn't respond, because quite frankly, in my opinion, I don't think there is a good excuse. You have to respond. Again, it's an active shooter situation, and those are kids. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, whether I'm still in law enforcement or whether I'm not, and I don't have the badge, I'm still going to suit up, go run in and protect those freaking kids. That's me personally. Okay. And that was that agent that day. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people that are concealed carry holders probably would have went in and done that too. Okay. I get it. It's scary. Rounds are coming back. But you know what? There's two types of people when it comes to being in this line of work. There's those that, get into a dangerous situation and become fearful for their life and freeze and decide they're not going to act because their primary focus at the end of the day is just making it home. And there's those people that see those dangers and they go, screw it. If today's the day, then today's the day, but I'm going to charge in and do what I got to do. That's the type of person that you need to be if you're in law enforcement. And if that's not the type of person you are, then I encourage you, watch this video and maybe think about what type of person you are, whether or not you're in the right line of work. But, that's honestly, guys, that's the job and that's what it entails. So I will not make an excuse for those officers for not going in, because I know most of my friends that I've talked to on the job agree with me as far as they would have been first to go in as well. So there's really no excuse for what they did. And I think now, if I'm not mistaken, their commander is actually saying that they did make the wrong call, which is good, owning up to it. In this line of work, it's very easy, especially nowadays, right? With all the demonizing of police, it's very easy to be afraid to do your job because you're afraid that if you do your job, you may go to jail because people are judging you wrong or whatever. And I get that. I do. But at the end of the day, you can't let anyone tell you how to do your job, whether it be a commander, whether it be the public, somebody with a cell phone. You can't let somebody tell you how to do your job. You know the difference between what's right and wrong, or at least you should if you're on the job, right? What's right is right. What's wrong, it's wrong. Okay. And when it comes time to protecting people, that is what's right. If you got to break rank, you got to piss other people off, I don't care. That is your job. Do your job, ask for forgiveness later, like I said a few times before. But again, you're going to have a lot of people on both sides of the fence. You got people that are really pissed off that are not law enforcement. And I get it. I'm pissed off as law enforcement. But you also got guys in law enforcement that are defending this stuff. And I'm sorry, but if you're in law enforcement, there's no way you can possibly defend this. Okay. Again, I'm watching Black Scout Survival's video on this, and he's done, I think, 2 or 3 videos now. But, his one video on it, there's another officer who was kind of coming at him, who, went at him and said, oh, how dare you say, most cops are cowards and a lot of Marines are cowards. He's coming after him because Jack was a, Marine. And look, listen, for that officer, like for you to get butthurt and offended by him calling out the truth, I've heard him say again many times in his videos that he does not demonize a whole group of people. He doesn't say all cops are bad. There are some bad cops. That's fact of the matter. He doesn't say everyone in the military is bad. He does say that there are some members in the military that are bad. They're, communists and socialists and all this other stuff. He doesn't call everyone out as a group. So for any law enforcement officer to just defend them because of the thin blue line, you can't do that. Look, I'm all in support of the thin blue line. I'm going to be supportive of law enforcement. I was before I got on the job, and I'll be after I got on the job. But again, what's right is right. You can't defend the actions of others when they're in the wrong simply because they put on the same uniform as you. You just can't. But that's my take on it. You guys take it for what it is. Kind of long-winded this morning, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. We will get some more tactical videos coming in soon. Just wanted to kind of, add some other content to the channel. And hopefully later on this week, we have an interview with a friend of mine who's out in a foreign country, training some people right now. And hopefully we'll have, pretty good interview with him about some survival skills and stuff like that. And we'll see what comes of it later. But hope you guys liked the video. Hope you took something away from it. So that being said, you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay tactical, stay dangerous. All right. Take care, guys.